Rich Berman and Bill Truby, delighted to be here with David Hall, 6 times world champion and gold medalist, to talk about some of the mental aspects of tennis and match play. So, David.
G'day, mate.
We've obviously spent a lot of time together, and I wish you would share with us how you would mentally prepare for some of those very, very tough matches.
I think for me, like, the longer that I played and the more matches that I played over the years, I kind of understood that the preparation mentally for a match kind of started the night before, and like I didn't want to overthink it too much after I won my match on a specific day. I didn't want to then automatically start thinking about who I'm playing like the next round. And so what I did was I would just enjoy, the day's victory and, feel good about that for, a couple of hours. And then I would just start mentally getting myself ready for the next opponent. And then that night, like after dinner in the hotel, I would just make up like notes, and I would put it on one small piece of paper, and on that note was just information like about the upcoming match. And I would do things like play to win, what kind of tactics that I wanted to use, like where I wanted to serve, where I wanted to return. And then on that note, I would also include kind of some technical stuff as well. So I thought, once I had that, like all that information on that note, then I would feel more comfortable about the match the next day. So I'd go to sleep, wake up the next morning, make sure that I got a really good, practice in. But even if I didn't, like that didn't matter. Like it didn't mentally, put me out of whack or anything. And then I would have that note like in my tennis bag. And so so I could use it, at change of ends during the match. But so I'd have my warm up, and then directly before the match, say, 45 minutes to an hour or whatever it was, whatever the timing worked out to be between the time of the warm up and then the match, I'd just go off by myself. Like I didn't want to kind of interact with anyone. That was just my own personal style. So I could just look at the note, mentally get myself ready for the match. And so I kind of wanted to go into the match feeling as mentally relaxed. I mean, I was nervous. Everyone's nervous before a match. But I just wanted to feel as mentally relaxed as I possibly could be, that I'd done the work before the match. And so for me, that was important. But I was also prepared to lose. I think that was something that was very important as well, that, I would think about, honestly, I would think about the worst case scenario. Not overly, but that was part of the mental preparation. I would think, just for a little bit, that I would go out there and think, oh my God, what's the horror situation potentially of this match? I could go out, hit a ton of double faults, many mistakes, and just feel, that this was a nightmare. And then I would accept that. I would feel, yeah, I'm prepared for that. I feel I didn't want to feel fearful that this potentially could happen. Once I accepted that that could happen, bang, I'd focus back on the note, the tactics, the technical, and then I felt once I'd done all that work, I was mentally prepared for the match. So, yeah, that's what I felt good about. And that, it didn't work every time. Obviously, I would lose matches, but I think mentally that was a comfortable situation, for me to be in. So
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, where do you go when you lose your serve? When you're in the middle of a match, it's tight, things aren't working well, or maybe even your forehand breaks down, your backhand breaks down. What skills do you use to try to get that back?
Yeah, I mean, I think, there are different times when, a certain shot is just not going to be working. And for me, as any player, I think you need to know your game. You need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are and kind of be prepared for that before the match. Because you're right, no one's perfect. And there's going to be times during a match, in pressure situations where something will break down. I mean, that's just...
Do you fall back on just standard the things that have been ingrained in your mind, the muscle memory, the coaching aspects that Rich has brought to you? How do you recenter yourself to try to calm yourself to get that confidence level back up and break through it at the middle of it?
Well, I think change of ends can be really important. And I think when something like that happens, that a shot breaks down, things can go by really quick. And so before you know it, you're down 3-love, you're down 6-1, the first set's gone, and you're like a fish out of water. You have no idea what's going on. So I think, you would just kind of slow everything down. Not, like ridiculously, but just take a little bit longer between points just to kind of, mentally think about what's happening. But I think a good time to do that was a change of ends. Like, if you're, something on the serve wasn't happening, like you weren't, keeping your head up or something, it was just realizing that. And that's why I think you have to be really aware of, certain things in your game that's not a strength that, could break down. So for me, it was just about, just slowly taking a few deep breaths, maybe just taking a little bit longer between points, and then at change of ends, you go up, have a drink, maybe have a bite of a banana, and then if you want, you might have something on your note. I think note is huge. If you have a note in your tennis bag, change of ends, look at the note, there's probably something technical on there about a certain weakness that you might have. Look at that, think, okay, why did I just lose my serve? I'm dumping the ball in the net, I'm bringing my head down. And you can do that quite quick because you've only got, I don't know, what's change of ends, 30...
Minute and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quick, you don't have a lot of time, so that's something that, you could do that would just kind of bring you back, because time can go pretty quick during a match.
Okay, mate, I want to bring you back. I'm going to bring you back to 1994 when we first met.
Mate, I had hair back then. My God.
Yes, and I had a mustache. And a much better sense of humor, I'm told. So 1994, we start working together.
Yep.
And in between one of our sessions, you said, Sydney was just, I don't know the appropriate word, given. Sydney was just accepted as the venue for the 2000 Olympics. And that's your hometown, Sydney, Australia. And you said, mate, I want to win a gold medal. And at that time, you were ranked 5 or 6 in the world. And I think my comment to you was, let's not worry about that right now. Let's go out there and fix your serve. And to me, 6 years in advance, how could one possibly even think about that? But you already were. Now we're going to speed up. You have made it to the finals of the singles division, the gold medal round in Sydney, your hometown. Something you wanted for 6 years now. Maybe it's been a dream of yours for the whole time you've played tennis since a kid. You lose the first set. You come back, you win the second. You split sets. My recollection is you're down 2-love in the third. Can you take yourself back to that time? What you may have been thinking of? What did you do to pull yourself together and win the next 6 games in a row? Now, obviously, you weren't aware you were going to win 1 point in a row. But it ended up, you had the fight, you had the tenacity, you had the focus that you went on to beat Steve Welch, one of the best players, chair players ever, 6 games in a row to win your gold medal.